Hello, everybody. This is Secondhand Dan coming to you again from the Penny Pincher Thrift Shop land. Uh, I had a eventful day yesterday. A 78-year-old man invited me into his house to rummage around, and that's the house that he was a baby when he was brought into it by his parents. So it's a big old three-story house in a mill town. Probably about 100-year-old house. So I did find some stuff. So I thought we'd go through this one box together and get to the bottom of it and see if there's anything of value in it. Well, here she be. Did I say box? It's a crate. So the first thing of some value is the crate itself. It looks like it says Sylvan something Dairy Incorporated. So that's a nice crate there. So I was in the local food store the other day, and they were selling old produce cases. I mean, a chain food store, and they had like 3 cases that didn't look not better than this, that's for sure. And I think they were asking like $35 a piece for them. I said, when did the chain grocery stores get into trying to sell antiques? Alrighty then, it's almost a bit of a oxymoron here, but I'm going to clean this workbench so that I have a clean surface for all that dirty junk in that box. I don't know, it just makes me feel better having a half decent surface when I start. Need to clean the whole workbench again, but all right, let's bring that case over here. Now, I'm saying something that could be worth a decent amount of money. A outdoor edge. This was not in the case when I found the case in the basement, but I agreed that I was going to buy this item, and so just to make things easier, I chucked it in the case. But that was not in there originally. But gee, there is some hardware. Nice unused positive battery cable. Corroded, possibly still functional hose nozzle. A busted pipe wrench. The handle's busted off of it. Gas fitting. I saved those for my steampunk work. Let's go throw it in this bucket here. Let me show you the bucket. That is about a third full of black iron and maybe 1 or 2 pieces of brass fittings. This came from the estate that I was welcomed into, but it was not in the bucket. I found it on a chewing gum display, so I cleaned the chewing gum display off and put all that stuff in here, and it will go into inventory with all my other black iron. You can see I have a quite the bin full of what's typically called threaded nipples. I'm not sure how long you have to be before you're no longer a pipe. I mean, no longer a nipple, but become a pipe. But those are my threaded nipple collection. Tees of different sizes. Elbows. I got the street elbows and the regular elbows. There's my bin full of caps. And over there is a bin full of plugs. Down below, we have unions and couplings. So I'm going to get that stuff into there eventually. I do tend to break it down as far as if it's got something threaded on it and a nipple with an elbow, I'll separate them, and just makes it easier for inventorying them. But that's what I use for steampunking and industrial artwork lamps. Now, Here's an example. I didn't create this one. This one I think was a cheater. They just went to the hardware store, or it might have even been a pseudo factory production piece, and they just probably ordered bins full of piping and said, these are a hot commodity, let's build them and sell them. But I got this at a yard sale, and it was broken off at the top. I took a ceramic socket off a light fixture, and I had to enlarge the hole in the bottom of the ceramic socket. I only had one hole in it, and then I used one of those molly nuts that spring open to secure it to the top of the T. So, and I had to buy a new light bulb for it. So it's looking good for who he is. I have not built a man out of pipe thread, but it makes you think of the possibilities. What if I built a horse or a dog out of pipe fittings? But to be consistent, you have to have, I guess, a lot of the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to end up with two different manufactured elbows and two different size unions or couplings or reducers. So I'll probably just stick largely to what I'm doing and let the people who want to create the light bulb man, let them have it. All right, back to the case. On the case. I agreed to, well, what I did was, in general, it had starting at the basement, then the first floor, then the second floor, and then the third floor. They called it an attic, but it was huge. The attic had an attic, which was a square panel up in the ceiling. So I did not venture up there, but at every floor, I created a pile of merchandise that I wanted to purchase. So rather than try and run from every floor and get it all into one major pile, I ended up having 5 piles, I think, because on the first level I had 2 piles, and then on the second floor I had a pile, in the attic I had a pile, and down in the basement I had a pile. So I just said, I grabbed this and said, this is on my pile. I did not bother digging into it. So it could be largely dead weight, but I know there's some things in here that I use for my industrial art, like these old-timey fuses. We got a hanger. Fortunately, I got the garbage can right under here. I don't know what that is. It looks like a plug cut out of something. It looks like granite. Don't need it. Okay. Scutcheon. Torch tip, I think. Maybe not. No, there's no hole in it. Bullet shaped. It might be a hinge topper. It's an educated guess. For distributor points. Can't keep it all. The hardest part about keeping a lot of this stuff is finding the right bin or box to put it in, because there's so many categories. Old-fashioned plug. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Nice old razor blade purchase, I guess, from back in the day. Drill bit, short, but it looks sharp. All right, I think I'm done with this little tray's worth here. I'm just gonna lay that in the garbage can rather than flip it in there. Might create more dirt. Okay, another cardboard tray. Okay, some kind of banding clamp, piece of wire. Now, this looks like an old TV wire, the old picture tube TVs or the old radios. But some guys, you know, they're into scrapping. I do some scrapping, but they'll save every single wire until they have a massive pile of it. But to me, that's too much trouble because I don't ever think I'm going to get a massive pile of it. So I'm just going to throw this in the garbage. Okay. Interesting box with a wallet in it. Okay. I keep saying I need to upgrade my wallet. Elephant hide. Wow. Graduating class of 1966. Elephant hide, huh? But the inside is just cheap vinyl. So why would you splurge on the hide on the outside and go cheap on the inside? But it's from St. Mary's Polish. All right, well, I don't think it's worth anything, but I'm not going to be throwing it out yet. Elephant hide, huh? Old glove. Old spark plug wire. Nice eye bolt. I do save my brass for scrapping, if not just to keep it around for possible steampunk projects. Like this. It's kind of like, oh, maybe something you should hang on to, but I don't have a ball bearing drawer for loose ball bearings. Tiny threaded nipples. Reducer. A couple of plugs. So I'll just throw these in that bucket, and it'll be another day when I sort out the bucket. Now, this is a possible winner. Check that beauty out. And let me get you real close. Sometimes the best things you find in the weirdest places. That is that a pencil or a pen? But I'm going to have to do some research on that. Because fountain pens and mechanical pencils of vintage age and certain makes and motifs can bring you some good money. I've sold fountain pens and stuff like that I've gotten for $1 or $2 at somebody's yard sale. Okay, scrap plastic bin. Dried out. I've never seen that. It's not a glove. It's not a mitten. It's a smitten. I think it goes on this hand. Ugh, I can't barely get my hand in because it's stiff, but I've never seen one of these. Okay, well, it's going in the trash. We have the custom designed in-dash stereo 8-track directions. Portionality purchase of some part. I always want to at least leaf through this stuff. Owner's manual for Audi Fox. Okay, this looks like garbage to me. Tiger brand wire, huh? Never heard of them. Okay, from the Alliance Tenoscope Company, a Looks like to be coming out of its original box. What is it? It's a radio dial. See, now something like that. I did save some dials off an old radio. This could end up on one of my art projects. So we'll hang on to that for the moment. Box is too big and decayed, and I'm not even sure that's the original box. Excuse me. 10-minute radiator flush. Piece of cardboard. People like those old tin cans, so I do have a lineup of tin cans in my my showroom. Renewal fuse. This is Elements. It's basically a fuse, and it goes inside something like this. Some of these screw apart. Yeah. And you can replace them as they blow out. Rather, I guess you guys take off both ends. Yep. So these go inside here. So you don't have to, quote, buy the whole shooting match. Back in the day, you just kept some of these on hand. That's cool. They were so much better about getting a lot of life out of things back in the days, not making everything disposable like they do now. Even cars are disposable seemingly anymore. You don't believe me? Just buy a Kia. Sorry, Kia lovers. I saw a Kia yesterday. It was outside the house that I was at. And it was a sharp looking Kia. And I would have estimated it to be, like 2017, 18. Cute car. Reminded me of a cheaper version of my Lexus RX out there. But it was going up the road, and I think the young lady had the pedal to the metal. And I was like, clack, 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 clack. Just trying to get up the hill. So I'm like, I feel your pain. Because, a car like that, yeah, it's going to need a motor, but it's almost a sideways move. It's got to be, at least $5,000 to swap out the motor, and the car's probably max value is $10,000. So you're between a rock and a hard place. All right, well, I got some zip ties. I've got a zip tie drawer full of zip ties. It's a big drawer too. So I try not to be stingy with the zip ties. Use them up. I don't care if it's just wrap around a ball of string to keep it from unwinding. Especially when you have some of the slightly vintage. Use them up. It's a file cabinet drawer. Not a deep one. Come on, get in there. All right, I can't get the drawer shut right now. I'll get back to that. An old car clock. That's kind of cool looking. Now, I'll hang on to that. I'll look it up on eBay, make sure it's not something that some people are missing for their restoration project. If it's not valuable enough to sell on eBay, it could end up in one of my, there I go again, one of my art projects. Bundle of string, I have enough bundles of string. Throw it out. There's a whip antenna spring. I remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, I was one of those guys that run around with the CB. I was into the craze with my friends, and Some had the whip antenna on their back bumper, and this was the spring that would go to the base of it. Industrial marker. Okay, how industrial are you? Huh. Metal marker. Never been used. There again, that's something, you know, I'll look up on the internet. John P. Nissen Jr. Company. You know, if it's only worth $5, I'll probably just keep it around for my use. Okay. That almost... Now, oh, I know what that is. Oh, that's a push rod. I'm like looking at it. Well, it looks kind of like it was hollow at one point. And I thought, oh, is that a piece of brake line? But I'm like, well, it's flared. The fittings would have to be already on there. So, no, that's a push rod. I'm going to push it right into the trash. Piece of brass scrap. Old hose connection. Car light bulb. Delco Remy. Probably a flasher unit. For the turn signals that are 4 ways. Ugh. It's pretty nasty looking. What is it? I think they put the used part in here, but yeah. I guess it's possibly a fuel filter. Although the box says automatic transmission parts. Could that be the vacuum switch? All right, into the trash you go. Car taillight bulbs. Nice old reflector. Alright. This can go into the trash. There's a couple of like window shade holders. Dirt. Okay, that looks like it could be asbestos on that piece of screen. Not sure, I guess it would be a little hot plate for something that you're torching. Some kind of a hanger, you hammer that into, I assume maybe it's for like holding gas pipe up or something, into the trash. Some electrical tape into the trash. Oh, a lot of brass screws, machine screws and nuts. Those are good to have. I usually try and balance out my steampunk projects with a touch of copper and a touch of brass, a dial or gauge, things like that. Some chain, dog leash. Big old dial padlock with a key slot in the back. A lot of wood screws. I wonder if they're stainless. They're so shiny. Bunch of hinges in there too. Okay. Biggest lock washers I've ever seen. Well, we're kind of sore getting to the bottom of this. Do they even sell these anymore? Rayovac, these with lantern battery. I remember when I was growing up, these were popular. So there's two of them, but into the trash. Okay. Cast resin. It's a welding shield lens. I do have a welding shield over there that would fit, but I don't think I ever use that welding shield because I prefer the larger view, and I have one with a larger view. Okay, we have another Alliance tenor rotor, it says in there. Now this might be, is it the still brand new in the box, new old stock? Oh, another one of these. What the heck? Huh. It's spring loaded on the back. I sort of kind of want to look that up. Well, what's it say right on here? Spring, yes, spring motor hub assembly. So we got two of them. I'm going to pull that other box out of the trash in case it's a hard to come by part for somebody. And it does look like there's a little bit of grease on the back of this one. That could be just factory grease with dirt in it. They're not identical. I mean, they're definitely the same part, but I can tell this one looks like a foil on there, and this one looks like a paint. All right, well, we're gonna have to look that up. I'll tell you what. Let's satisfy our curiosity. I'm going to go look it up. Hold on. All right. I'm back. You couldn't even tell I was away. I looked it up. This is, the clue's largely on the box there. It says Tenna rotor. It is for TV antennas. On the roof of your house back in the day, you'd have a box by your TV, and you would turn it to change the rotation of the antenna on the roof. The antenna had a motor on it, so you would turn it to like maybe northwest or southeast, and this thing would go to coincide with the antenna rotation up on the roof. So I never owned one. I saw some of my family members, aunts, uncles had something like that, or friends down the street. But our antenna, when I was growing up, if the rabbit ears failed, it was a coat hanger. So that's a rotor replacement for inside your antenna control box. Aren't you glad you know now? Okay, this is a cool on-off switch. I assume it's on-off. It could be off-on. Or you'd have to read it out with a meter. But that could be something I could use. Okay, well, I'm getting down to the dregs here. Let me shuffle through them. Because I'll probably just take the balance and pour it into the garbage can outside. These are neat. Pilot light covers. Old-time lock and gas cap. Some black iron again. Plug and a cap stuck together, and a reducer. I guess it depends on which direction you're going. It could be an enlarger, but you wouldn't want to do it that way. I'd say reducer first. All right, well, I guess I could use that. Looks like I only get one wire through it though. That's the problem. I wish it was a little bigger, but I can still use it as a dummy on one of my art projects to make it look like it has a purpose. Well, let's show you what the bottom of the barrel looks like over here. Now you tell me, is there anything of value left in here? Oh, orange. We got red, green, and orange. Nice bolt. The square heads are nice to have around. I could probably use that in my mom's house. I'm installing a dishwasher, so I could clamp the hose to the floor so it doesn't get in the way when I go to slide the dishwasher back in. Oh, that's for cable. All right, well, I think we're done here. Honing stone. That's for a car antenna. Goes on the fender to allow for the offset of the fender, so it's only going to fit a particular model probably. Dried out bathtub plug. This is the neutral safety switch off the column of somebody's automobile. So it'd be like park, reverse, neutral, drive, 2. Yeah, it must be off a Power Glide. I'm just spitballing. I don't know what it's off of. I do know it is probably a neutral safety switch. So, all right. Well, let's say we're done here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this crate in the trash can outside, and then maybe I'll wipe this case down and put a price on it. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you found this interesting. I know it wasn't overly interesting, but I've watched such things myself on YouTube once in a while. You just want to chill and you don't want to watch anything heavy, about, what's the earthquakes doing, what's the volcanoes doing, or who's getting arrested, or who's horrible crashes. It's just sometimes you want to chill out with something that doesn't stress your spirit. And I hope this was it. All right. Bye, everybody. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Bye again.